The clock on the kitchen wall ticks louder than it should. Every second feels like it's pushing her further into the dark. Emily sits hunched over a table littered with overdue bills, bank statements, and a crumpled eviction notice that seems to stare back at her. The numbers don't make sense anymore. Negative balances, late fees, interest piling on top of interest. The refrigerator hums, a low and almost taunting sound, reminding her that there's barely enough food left for the week. She can stretch it: pasta, a couple cans of beans, maybe one more carton of milk, but stretching it means her son's plate will look emptier and emptier until there's nothing left to stretch. In the other room, a soft cough breaks through the quiet. It's been there for days, stubborn and lingering. The doctor said it wasn't serious yet, but without the prescription, without the antibiotics. She doesn't want to think about the without. Her phone is face down on the table. She doesn't want to look at it because every notification is either a payment reminder or a friend posting a life she can't afford to dream about. But she needs it now. She picks it up, unlocks the screen, scrolls through her contacts. Her finger hovers over one name. It's not a good choice. He's not reliable. He's not kind, but he's the only one she knows who might have a little extra to spare. And right now, pride is an expense she can't afford. She opens the message window. The letters appear slowly as she types, her hands shaking just enough to make them blur. Please, I don't know what else to do. I need help. Even $100 will make sure he's okay. Her thumb hovers over the send button. She reads it again. It's too much. It's not enough. She should rewrite it. She should explain more. She should say less. Her head is swimming. The sound of another cough from the bedroom cuts through her hesitation. She presses send. A small whoosh sound fills the room, and the message is gone, out of her hands, floating in the space between phones, between lives, between strangers and mistakes. The screen goes dark. She sets the phone down and leans forward, pressing her forehead to the cool surface of the table. She doesn't cry, not because she doesn't want to, but because she doesn't have the energy left for it. In the stillness, the hum of the fridge grows louder, the clock ticks harder, and somewhere in the night, her phone vibrates once. She doesn't reach for it, not yet. The city stretches beneath him like a grid of burning veins. From the 28th floor, Michael can see it all. Streets pulsing with headlights, buildings stacked like darkened dominoes, a thin mist clinging to the air. He leans against the cool glass, one hand holding a crystal tumbler, the other tucked in his pocket. The whiskey is smooth but heavy. It doesn't warm him the way it used to. Nothing does lately. Deals close. Numbers rise. His bank account grows. Yet somewhere between the boardrooms and the luxury hotels, he's started to feel like an observer in his own life. The phone on the marble counter buzzes once, a faint vibration against stone. He almost ignores it. Texts from assistants, reminders for meetings, social invitations he'll never accept. But something in the way it lingers catches his attention. He walks over, glass in hand, and picks it up. Unknown number. One line of text stares up at him. Please, I don't know what else to do. I need help. Even $100 will make sure he's okay. He reads it again. And again, the words aren't polished. They aren't crafted to manipulate. There's no scammer's hook, no polite introduction, just raw, blunt desperation, the kind you can't fake. Michael sets the glass down slowly. The city hum outside feels quieter now, as if the whole world has tilted toward this moment. He glances at the timestamp. Sent just seconds ago. Someone somewhere is waiting for a reply. He should delete it. That's the logical thing. He doesn't know this person. It's not his problem. The city is full of people in trouble. He can't save all of them, but his thumb hovers over the keyboard. A memory cuts through the present. Years back, another phone, another message, a woman he knew only vaguely, a friend of a friend, asking for help, saying she was in a bad place. He hadn't responded. He'd been too busy. By the time he thought about it again, it was too late. He swallows, the whiskey burning a little sharper now. His hands feel heavier. His mind keeps returning to the same thought. What if this is one of those moments? He types, "Who is this?" For a moment, he stares at the words, debating whether to send them. It feels strange, intrusive almost, but the alternative, ignoring it completely, feels stranger. He presses send. The phone stays in his hand as he paces across the living room, past the leather couch, the abstract paintings, the silent grand piano. The minutes drag, no reply. The city outside continues to move, oblivious, but for Michael, the apartment feels suspended, as if he's waiting for something he can't quite name. When the phone finally lights up again, his breath catches before he even reads the screen. Emily's phone vibrates, a sharp buzz against the table that makes her flinch. She looks at the screen. It's not her ex's name. It's not anyone she recognizes. Who is this? Her stomach tightens. She sent the message to the wrong number. The realization hits like cold water. She should delete it, block the number, pretend it never happened. But her finger lingers over the glass, the soft glow of the screen pulling her in. She types quickly, "Sorry, wrong number." She almost sends it, but stops. What if they're just curious? What if they actually might help? Then again, what kind of stranger responds to something like that? She sets the phone down, face up this time, and pushes it a few inches away as if distance will make the decision easier. The room feels heavier, the air thick with the low hum of the refrigerator and the occasional creak from the walls. Her son coughs again from the bedroom. It's deeper now, wetter. The sound makes her chest ache in a way she can't describe. She grips the edge of the table until her knuckles turn pale. Another vibration, this one longer. She glances at the screen. "Where are you right now?" Her pulse stutters. The words feel different, too direct, too personal. A part of her wants to answer. Another part wants to throw the phone across the room. She can't decide if it's kindness or danger waiting on the other side of the conversation. She replays the sequence in her head. The message, the stranger's first reply, this one. Each step feels like she's being pulled further into something she doesn't understand. She thinks about money, how she's counted every dollar in her purse 3 times today. How her checking account is already overdrawn, how the landlord's voice on the last voicemail was sharper than usual, how the pharmacy clerk didn't even try to hide the pity when she said she couldn't pay for the prescription yet. The phone sits there, quiet again. She stares at it for so long her eyes begin to burn. She imagines someone on the other end of that number, sitting somewhere, maybe looking at her words the way she's looking at theirs. Her hands start to sweat. She wipes them on her jeans and finally picks up the phone, the smooth glass warm from the heat of the lamp above. Her thumbs hover over the keyboard. Every possible response flashes through her mind. She could say she's fine. She could say she's not. She could lie. She could tell the truth. She could ignore it completely. The silence stretches. The screen dims. Her reflection stares back at her, eyes tired, hair pulled back in a loose tie, a faint shadow under her cheekbones. The phone buzzes again. This time, there are more words. The knock comes just after sunrise. 3 short raps. Firm, unhurried, certain. Emily freezes in the kitchen, a chipped mug halfway to her lips. Her first thought is the landlord. Her second is worse. Debt collectors, the kind that don't wait for an invitation. The knocks come again. She glances toward the bedroom. Her son is still asleep, one arm hanging off the bed, his breathing uneven. She sets the mug down, the faint clink against the counter louder than she expects. Her bare feet are silent on the worn linoleum as she moves to the front door. She presses her eye to the peephole. A man stands on the other side. Not the landlord, not a neighbor, dark coat, expensive-looking shoes. His posture is relaxed, but there's something deliberate in the way he waits, hands clasped loosely in front of him. Her pulse kicks up. She doesn't know him, she doesn't want to know him, but he doesn't look like someone who knocked on the wrong door. For a long moment, she just watches him. He tilts his head slightly, as if he knows she's there. The air feels tighter, heavier, pressing against her chest. "Are you Emily?" His voice is low, clear, even through the thick wood. She hesitates. Every instinct tells her to say nothing, to wait until he leaves. But another thought slips in, the one she's been pushing away since last night. What if this is connected to the messages? What if this is why he's here? Her fingers slide over the chain lock, stopping just short of unlatching it. She takes a breath, then opens the door a few inches, enough for the cold air to rush in. The man's face is calm, unreadable. He reaches into his coat. Her stomach knots, every muscle braced, but he pulls out an envelope. Thick, unmarked, "This is for you," he says simply, no strings attached. She stares at him, back at it again. She doesn't move, doesn't take it. The paper looks too clean, too intentional. She can feel the weight of whatever's inside just from the way it bends slightly in his hand. Her voice is barely above a whisper. Why? He doesn't answer right away. His eyes hold hers in a way that makes her skin prickle, like he's measuring her reaction, deciding what to say. The smell of rain drifts in from the hallway, mixing with the faint scent of something expensive, his cologne, subtle but undeniable. Somewhere behind her, her son coughs again. The sound slices through the moment. She glances toward the bedroom door, then back at the envelope, still suspended between them. The man takes a slow step forward, closing the gap by inches, his hand steady. Her fingers twitch at her side. The envelope is in her hands now, heavier than she expected. She can feel the contents shifting as she grips it, the faint crinkle of bills rubbing against each other. Her fingers tighten instinctively, as if someone might snatch it away. She looks up at him. "I don't understand." The man's expression changes, barely but enough. A flicker of something behind his eyes, something that feels more like memory than sympathy. Years ago, he says, his voice low, almost reluctant, "I got a message, a lot like yours." Her pulse thumps in her ears. The sound of her own breathing grows louder. She doesn't know why she's still standing here, why she hasn't slammed the door, but she can't move. He continues. "I didn't answer. Told myself it was probably a scam, or that it wasn't my problem. A week later, I saw her name in the news." His jaw tightens. The pause between his words stretches until it feels like the walls are closing in. "She was gone," he says finally. "By the time I realized I could have done something, it was too late." The hallway is silent except for the faint hum of the building's heating system. Emily's grip on the envelope loosens, just slightly. She glances down at it, then back at him, searching his face for any sign of a lie. He meets her gaze without blinking. "When I saw your message, I couldn't ignore it, not again." She swallows hard. The words settle in her chest like stones. A stranger with her plea in his phone. A stranger who decided to act. The thought should make her feel uneasy, but there's something else threading through the fear. A pull she doesn't want to name. The smell of his cologne lingers between them, faint but steady. His coat is still damp from the mist outside, beads of moisture clinging to the fabric. Emily shifts her weight, the floor creaking under her bare feet. "You don't even know me," she says, and it comes out sharper than she intended. A corner of his mouth lifts, not a smile, but close. "Maybe I don't need to." Her eyes drop to the envelope again. She can see the edge of the bills inside now, the green corners peeking through the slight gap in the flap. She's afraid to count them, afraid of what accepting them might mean. Somewhere deep in the apartment, her son stirs, his small cough echoing faintly down the hall. It's enough to pull her attention away for half a second, but when she looks back, the man is still watching her, unmoving. The air between them feels suspended, like the moment before a coin hits the ground. His hand is still at his side, steady, as if he's waiting for something more than just a thank you. Emily doesn't move at first. The weight of the envelope presses into her palm like a choice she isn't ready to make. The man, Michael, stands as if time doesn't matter to him, as if he could wait there all day for her to decide. Her mind spins with questions, all tangled together. Why her? Why now? What happens if she says yes? What happens if she says no? Another cough drifts from the bedroom, softer this time, but enough to cut through the noise in her head. She tightens her grip. The money could buy the medicine, it could cover the rent. It could put food on the table tonight. She forces herself to meet his eyes. If I take this, I don't owe you anything. No. His voice is certain. Not now. Not ever. The answer should make her feel safe, but it doesn't. It makes her feel exposed because there's nothing in it for him. No one does something like this without wanting something back, except maybe someone who has already lived with the weight of doing nothing. Her chest feels heavy. She steps back just enough to let him into the apartment. He doesn't cross the threshold, only leans slightly to look toward the small bedroom. His gaze softens when he hears the faint sound of breathing. "You're a good mother," he says quietly. "Don't let anyone tell you different." The words land somewhere deep inside her in a place she's kept locked for years. She nods once, a quick, almost involuntary movement. He straightens, adjusts the collar of his coat, and steps back into the hallway. She watches him turn toward the elevator, his footsteps measured and even. Something twists in her chest. Before she can stop herself, she calls out, "Wait." He turns. I can't pay you back," she says, "but maybe I can buy you a coffee, just to say thank you." For the first time since she opened the door, his face changes completely. A real smile, not forced, not polite, real. "Maybe one day," he says, and then he's gone, his footsteps fading until the only sound left is the hum of the building's heat and her own heartbeat in her ears. Emily closes the door slowly, the latch clicking into place. She stands there for a moment, leaning against the wood, the envelope still in her hands. She looks down at it. This time, she doesn't hesitate. She peels back the flap and pulls the money free, the crisp bills fanning out in her trembling fingers. Enough to keep her world from collapsing, for now, her son shifts in the bedroom, murmuring something in his sleep. She tucks the money back into the envelope and sets it on the table. She doesn't know if she'll ever see him again. But she knows this. A wrong number brought him to her door, and maybe, just maybe, it wasn't wrong at all.